What Bliss is not. First of all, Bliss does not change your serotonin level. It doesn't increase serotonin. It doesn't decrease serotonin. It doesn't turn on a little factory in your body that says, okay, we need more serotonin or we need less or whatever. This is an epigenetic product, which means it turns on a switch in your body that allows the body to start normalizing those levels. So if normal was too low for you, the old normal, it's going to raise them. If your old normal is too high, it's going to lower them. And the problem with evaluating that is that my serotonin level that would read normal might not be the same percentage or blood titration, as we call it, the titer of the blood. It may not be the same for you. I am a flaming type A. I mean, there's no doubt that when anybody meets me, if they understand personality typing, they're not going to go, well, let's see, what is it? They're going to know within a couple of minutes of me speaking that I am full bore type A. Now, for those of you that don't know what type A is, we seldom have time in our lives to go ho hum. We're on, the switch is on all the time. Even at bedtime, it's hard to go to sleep because if I get I just have to tell my wife, don't mention certain things because that's what I'm going to stay up and think about. Don't tell me what Glenn Beck said. I'm going to think about it all night long. Those of you who are type B personalities, ho-hum is kind of what you do. And that's not good or bad, that's just who you are. You take things a lot easier. So your serotonin level and my serotonin level are going to be much different. Two type A's and two type B's are going to be much different. You function differently. So whatever your body tells you is normal, your body is going to tell you is normal. And it's very difficult to run blood titrations on people and come up with a diagnosis of something based on what their serotonin level is. What we do know is that if this switch gets turned on, just like with the gut products, your body will begin to heal. So that normal for you is whatever your body tells you. And you can even have a blood titration of this, and the doctor could say, well, according to my statistics, you're low, but you may be functioning very, very well. And the best way to tell how you're doing is how everything functions. So don't get caught up in too much of the science of Bliss. We can prove everything we talk about. It's very obvious, but what we want you to do is experience the good feeling from it, to understand that your body is feeling better. Now, how does it work? Well, like I said, it's this switch. The switch can be off, it can be on, and it can be about anywhere in between. And it depends on what your body determines that should be. When it's normal, it affects a lot of things in your body. One of the great things that it does is it establishes this normal, and then your body can normalize all the compounds called endoamines, I-N-D-O-L-E, amines. Endoamines are things like melatonin, tryptophan, dopamine. They're all what? Hormones. So you get this wonderful regulation of all the hormones. One of the problems with taking drugs and medicine and things like that is it really screws up hormones. All of you have heard about the opioid epidemic going on. Guess what that does? It screws up hormones. The hormone it screws up the most is dopamine. Because when you take it, you feel great. But the body doesn't know what normal is anymore. So with a product like Bliss, you have the opportunity to establish a normalcy for your body. In fact, that's really what you're doing with all of these gut health products. You're allowing your body to function normally. And it will take a little time to heal. And I get this question in particular for people. Well, you know, I take it and I feel great, and then I quit taking it and I feel crummy. And I say, okay, so guess what? You haven't normalized. Your body is still flipping this switch somewhere. Will it ever get back to where it stabilizes and it works on its own? I have no idea, because most of the time we stay within the same environmental factors, don't we? Yeah, it's just our nature, the product of our life. You know, life is what happens while you're making plans, that sort of thing. Yeah, it just keeps happening. So if you're struggling with some of these things, don't be surprised if it takes a while. Don't be surprised if you keep taking these things. Because if it normalizes, you have the opportunity then to live a better quality of life. And quality of life is, I think, what we're all after. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at these things, realize that time is not your enemy, time is your friend in doing these things. It will take time. Now, one of the things that I've noticed, and perhaps you too, how many in here actually take Bliss? Oh, good. That's great. Would you like to take a break and give yourself a speech? One of the things that I find with Bliss, and a lot of people do too, is that I can take it any time of day. And I do take it any time of day, depending on how I feel, what I'm trying to accomplish, how long my to-do list is from my honey, and different things that affect my life. I will even take it in heavy traffic, because of being a type A personality. I understand fully what road rage is. Fortunately, I've never acted on it, but my wife has not attempted, she's threatened to undo my horn. So, but this Bliss, because of the way it works, that switch can be flipped at any time for you, no matter what you're doing. Because it affects all of these hormones, because it affects specifically serotonin, it affects 14 metabolic pathways in your body. Do you think if you're dealing with several of those that are goofed up, you're going to notice it? You will. You can't help but notice it. And usually the manifestations are in our mood and how we're handling the situation. It's not an antidepressant, but because I use the term modulates serotonin. Remember, it's not going to increase it, it's not going to decrease it. It's going to turn on this switch, and your body's going, oh, that's what normal is. And then you're going to get back into your situations that you're in, your environmental stuff, your foods, your kids, your in-laws, or husband or wife, or job, or I don't have all afternoon, so I can't run on all the things that are going to disrupt your emotional balance. But whatever those things are, they hit you, blindside you, all day long, anytime. Now, for me, when I originally developed this product, I found that I could take it about an hour before bed, and boy, I slept great. And then I could get up in the morning and I would feel good because I had slept well. And then I would find that somehow someone would manage to flip my switch sometime during the day. Now, I'm really a calm guy. But I could get that switch flipped. And I've learned that I can take this about any time. I know people who have experienced panic attacks, and they just come on and they get blindsided with them. And they carry Bliss with them. And they'll throw on a half a dozen squirts. And they start to calm down. And it's because that switch has been flipped, and the body's going, okay, let me normalize here. Let me get it back to an even keel. So you don't have to understand all the science. I can talk about the science till you're blue in the face. Not only me, but because the science fascinates me. But the bottom line for me on any product is, what's the result? You know, do I have energy? Yeah. Am I feeling better? Yeah. Am I having gut issues? No, I'm better here now. All of these things that Chanel and Brooks have been talking about in the testimonials, look at the result. What is happening for you? Because that's the pathway for healing. And like they say in the testimonials, some of them are a month, some of them are a couple of months, some of them are 3 months. My gosh, you've all been on 35 diets and tried them for at least 2 or 3 days. And they've all worked at least as well as they have on me. So give these products time to show you what they can do. You will find that they will do what they promise to do. Absolutely promise to do. You've had some experience with this, haven't you? Yeah, we all have. We all have. So remember that for this particular product, it's epigenetic. All it does is turn on a switch. It's not a medicine. It's a handle. And fortunately, we can turn that handle. And once we put that in motion, the body will determine where it's supposed to go. And there's a lot of things out there that you eat that are actually epigenetic. They don't work to change something as much as they work to allow the body to change it. So keep that in mind when you're taking this particular product.